everyone.
Hello, hello, hello. Why
Welcome
was
back to
that?
the podcast.
Why was that counter? That countdown music such a vibe again?
I was gonna say that the little jingle. I'm just here. I'm like, ooh,
Like,
yeah.
I almost wanted to meditate. Welcome, hello, Miss Moxie.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Have You Heard podcast.
Yes,
Um,
yes. Where have you heard? I haven't gotten any sleep. Look at this face. But anyway, you look stunning. Can I say?
thank you. Good morning. This is early for us. We're up early,
Very
which
early
is cool. Um,
because
very
not
early.
cool.
Yeah.
You
How
know,
are
I
you
just
feeling?
realized I don't have my light on. That's probably why it's like
Oh, there you are. There she is.
a little better.
Yeah, much better, much better. How are you feeling?
I'm tired. We never record this early.
No, we
So
had to make some adjustments this fine Sunday.
and there were pretty extreme adjustments, like 17 hours early. No, just kidding. We usually film about 6 in the evening on Sundays.
Yeah.
It's 9 o'clock, which means I had to get up at 7:30 because that means I had to get up at 8. And yeah. But anyways, we're here.
Good morning, everyone. Um, I think we're going to be, hopefully, we'll continue to do this if you guys like it. Um, we want to start off the podcast kind of getting a temperature check, seeing how everybody's doing, seeing how everybody's feeling. And I kind of want to start with our highs and lows of the past week since we usually film on Sundays. So a whole week has went by.
Yes.
Um, so would you like to start on with your highs and lows for this week?
I enjoy this part, by the way. I know that we're implementing this new, but I think it's cool. I used to do it with teenage kids when I used to work as a not as
Youths.
a social worker, but kind of like a social worker.
Yeah.
So I do think this is cool. My highs. I went to Florida
Yes.
last weekend for a couple days
Yes.
to see what many may consider my grandmother, which was nice. Um, I got a little tan, and it was like 85 degrees.
We could see your
I got to
tan, by the way, on cam. You could
Yeah,
see
I
it.
got a small little tan. And then
Yeah.
also I got to enjoy my family, my niece's son's birthday. Shout out Noah. So
Yeah.
I played basketball. I'm 40 years
Nice.
old, if I need to remind you. I played basketball. I played football. I came back dead, by the way. But that was my highlight of the week was going to Florida seeing family. Um, oof. My what would you call it? Is it a low of the week?
Oh, yeah.
Was returning to crappy weather. Which, by the way,
Oh,
it's been raining, which I don't
yeah.
mind, by the way, because I'm a huge lawn nut.
Lover.
So I could see some germination going on in the backyard and the
Nice.
front, but it's been raining and it's gonna rain all week. So that was my low of the week. I suffer from seasonal affective disorder. But how about you?
Yeah, no, seriously. And it's been like it's still cold, which is not ideal, but
Yeah.
let's see. My high of the week. Ooh, I got to see some family yesterday, which was really cool. I think the high of the week for me is I've been I've been a little sick, a little under the weather, but I've been able to kind of take advantage of hanging out with my little one. Um, oh my gosh, he should I talk about Theo's potty training? I think that's the highest high of my week.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so my little guy went to the bathroom the first time on his own, and it's so funny because he like has a hard time. Like he'll set everything up, sit down on the toilet, and then when he feels like he has to use the bathroom, he's like, "Put my diaper back on. This is not happening. It's not it.
It's
I'm
a
out of my
natural for him.
I'm out of my comfort zone." But I was able to distract him this time around. We did like sock puppets. It's so funny because he's on the toilet. I have a sock puppet in my hand in front of him, just like da,
Oh,
da, da.
whatever works, man.
Yeah. And then he all of a sudden makes a face, and I'm like, are you okay?" And he goes, "I think I need to change my diaper." And I'm like, "So you don't
Oh,
have your diaper on, but that's his code for I'm using the bathroom right now." So that was the highest high. That was
Can I say that's an
fun.
awesome high? Sorry to interrupt, but I have to get this off my chest. That is an awesome high, and the fact that I'm finding this out via our pod, I'm a little I
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know that I've been working a lot, and we've spoken, but not to use
Not
75
yeah,
hours a day.
yeah.
Well, oh my god, I didn't know.
Yeah, I was so excited, and then when he's done, he grabs his little stool to help him get up on the toilet, brings it to the sink. He's like, "We wanna wash your hands?" So I turned the sink on for him, and he's washing his hands. It's
Which,
big.
by the way, he is so tall.
He
He's so
is.
tall, so I'm assuming he doesn't use, like, the average little baby potty, does he? Or does he use
No,
your
he
he's
does
so big.
not. Yeah, he's huge. Yeah,
I
it's
can't believe
crazy.
he went. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was, and it was not a number 1, it was a number 2, which is, like, the big deal
That
because
is a big deal.
yeah, it's very uncomfortable for them, like, being in that position and not having your diaper on, it's so that was the highest high.
Mommy
Uh,
life. Oh, I love it.
yeah,
Thank you
it
for
was
sharing.
cool.
Thank you for sharing, because that's got me a little
Yeah.
emotional. That's cool.
Oh, that's why you're like, cleaning your
Yes,
eye.
I'm
I'm
not
sorry.
like, you didn't prepare me for this. We were talking about other stuff we were gonna talk about, and I didn't know that this happened. I knew we talked about, like, you getting ready and trying things. Never heard about
Yeah.
the sock puppets. Never heard any of this. So,
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
Yeah, thank you. I was very happy too. I did a very mom thing, and I took a picture of it, and Jesse's like, "Don't show that to anyone. That's weird." I'm like, "But
Yeah.
I know, but it's like, like what I cried." So, and I called Ema and she cried. And then it was just a whole thing.
I feel like you should talk to other mommies and see if they did that. I'm not a parent, so I don't know if I would do that. I can't
I
say.
know.
But you should
It's
ask other
yeah.
mommies, because what if it is a thing?
I kind of don't want to know because what if it's not? you know? So
Just Google it
maybe
then.
I'll delete that later. Yeah. So, and then the low of the week. Let me think. Let me think. Um, hmm. Low of the week. Oh, we lost. Yeah, I lost power up here for several hours on the rainiest day of the week, and it was cold. Uh,
Can I
around
ask one question?
yeah.
Was your phone dying when you lost power?
No, it was fully charged because it was early in the
Because you
morning.
never
I
okay, I'm
know.
proud of you. I'm proud of you. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Did you lose any food? No, it wasn't that long, right?
No, it wasn't that long. It was so, and it's I have to sleep with white noise. Like I need my fan on.
Mm.
So at 4 in the morning, my fan just stops, and I open my eyes, and I can't tell if I open my eyes because, as you know, I'm already kind of in farmland over here, so it's a little dark as it is.
She's in
But
the sticks.
yeah, the little bit of light we did have outside was gone. So I'm like, okay, the power went out. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to go back to sleep. It's gonna come back on. I couldn't go back to sleep because I didn't have my white noise, and then it never came back on. I reached out to the energy company, and I'm like, I reported an outage. 18,000 people, 18,000 people lost power.
Was
And
it when I was in Florida, or I don't e actually, I didn't lose power. I always know if I lost power, like, if I'm at work or if I'm away, because the timer, or the clock rather, on the microwave and the oven
it'll
or the
reset.
stove.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm like, "Oh, well, I lost power 6 hours ago because it's blinking at 6."
But it's
So I
Northwest. We up here, 18,000 people up here lost
no, I'm
power.
just wondering if
Yeah.
it happened when I was away, because I didn't even know how the weather. I don't check the weather when I'm not here.
I forget what day this was. I
Because
think it was.
when I came back, the plane was like because it was just rainy and
Oh,
windy.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
wondering if it was, like, super windy, if it was the weekend that I was gone last
It
weekend.
might have, no, it was in the middle of the week though. It wasn't a
Oh,
weekend.
okay. Oh,
Could have
okay.
been a Thursday. I don't remember, but yeah. And then come to find out, a poor raccoon got fried on the transformer. Um, yeah,
Not
poor little
Rocky.
guy.
Shout
Yeah,
out Rocky.
yeah, yeah.
Damn.
Or if you ever
Did you
watch
see
Bob's
it?
Burgers, Little King Trash Mouth. No, no, I don't know where it was. It was just and it's so funny because my in-laws, they love reading the paper, and my father-in-law is like, they're not reporting the number correctly. Like your outage map that you took a screenshot of said over 18,000 people lost power. The energy company's little voicemail thing said over 18,000 people lost power, but the newspaper was only reporting like maybe 2,000.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that was the low. It was cold, it was rainy. I was trying to stay
Um,
positive. They said it was going to come back on at like 9:30. Long story short, it didn't come back till like almost 1 o'clock. So it was, yeah.
yeah, that's a crappy low.
Yeah, it was. I tried to, and we were both, me and the little guy, we were just so sick. We were so
I
sick.
feel like you
So
sound a little stuffy still.
I am. Yeah, he's completely over it pretty much at this point, but I'm still a little nasally. And then
You feel
Jess
fine.
never gets sick. He never, we all get sick.
Shout
He
out
doesn't.
Jess. Jess is just
Yeah.
like a super he's just like supernatural, I swear.
Yeah.
He'll
But
come
he
over and
thinks,
if there's something, he'll identify like, "Hey, did you see this?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, what's done?" I'm like, he's just the bomb.
yeah, no,
Shout out Jess. We love Jess.
he's crazy.
He's the best. So yeah, we haven't gotten together for the pod in a while and so many things have happened. All
Yes,
facets, political, social, current events, you name it.
yes.
What has
Biblical,
caught huh?
biblical.
Biblical times, yes. What has caught your attention thus far? Anything in
Ooh,
particular?
I don't know if this has been within the last week or so. I feel like this has been an ongoing thing, but I've been hearing about it more. All the the vandals that have been like attacking the different Tesla shops is crazy.
Oh yeah.
TD Bank is leaving America.
No, where are they going?
Well, they're a Canadian bank.
This whole time they were Canadian?
Yeah, this whole time they're Canadian. So they started off with, remember, America's most convenient bank because they're open on Sundays.
Yes, yes.
They
I
don't
remember.
open on Sundays anymore. I think it's a very select few now. Like a
Sabbath day.
yeah, yeah, Sabbath day. But yeah, there are
I
talks
didn't
that
know they were
they're
Canadian.
yeah
What are
that
they
they're
mad about our
leaving.
tariffs?
I think
Tariffs.
so. I think so. I think that's what it is.
It's funny. I saw a meme because he brought up the Tesla. That's wild, by the way. It's
Yeah,
really wild that they're just like,
up and
well, the
going.
crazy thing is that they're bombing like Tesla dealerships, I think, or like factories, but
Yeah,
they're also keying. There's an influx of people keying the
other people's
sides
Teslas.
of Teslas. But what they don't realize is that there's cameras all over these cars. So they
Yes,
have you on video um keying somebody's car. But I did see a meme that I thought was actually funny.
Jesus.
It says something along the lines like the same people that wanted EV cars are the
Hmm.
ones blowing up EV cars.
Yes,
The insanity. Jesus. I guess, I mean, it's a form of protest. I don't know.
yes, yes.
Did you see what the attorney general said about it though? Pam Bondi.
No,
By
what'd
the
she
way, still
say?
by the way, still sorry that I got a little loud. I heard it in my headphones. Sorry.
It's okay.
By the way, still pissing me off with the Jeffrey Epstein files that have not yet been released.
They're not
Pam,
gonna
if
be.
you watch this, Miss Pam Bondi, your honor. She's not a judge, she's attorney general. But what the what the hell? Why haven't has been released? These JFK files are like anyways, but anyway,
I
she
think it's
said,
beyond control at this point, you know.
yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I agree. We're never gonna get them, and I think I just need to come to terms with that. And the sooner I do, then the more sanity or the more
But
sane I will
shout out
be.
to Ghislaine Maxwell. You're like the first woman in history to go down for human trafficking to nobody. Like, yeah, Guinness, where you at?
Miss G, like you out here doing things. You got charged, convicted, and but she's not
Yes,
talking either. So
she's
I mean,
not.
there's no sweetheart deal given to her. There's as far as I'm concerned, unless it's on the low low. Um, but shout out to Miss G. She's doing big things. But
Yeah.
Attorney General Bondi did say that anybody that gets caught with terrorizing, I guess, a factory or company or location that makes or produces or sells Teslas, that
Hmm.
they're going to be charged with acts of terrorism. So there's a big
Yeah.
controversy with that because I'm sorry, my nose is running a little bit. It's the weather.
I'm getting
There's a
used
big
to it.
controversy. Yeah, sorry. Because you have a side saying that's not terrorism,
Hmm.
but according to when it's used in a political way, any act that's considered terrorism is an act that it's conducted for a political view or political
Correct.
value.
Yes.
So, do you agree that it's a terrorist attack if it's a
I think
political stance?
I think it is because I understand there's a reason that they're doing this. I'm not saying it's a good reason. Let me
Right, right, right.
state that. But their reason behind doing it is not because they just don't like Teslas. It's because Elon Musk has been put in a position where he is pulling a lot of, he's in the government now. Like
Yeah.
this
He's a
is
government
not,
employee.
yeah, he is no longer just a CEO of a company.
Mhm.
He is now in the government, and a lot of these things were not going on before he took his seat, whatever his seat is with
Yeah.
Doge. So
Yeah.
I think it's justified to classify it as an act of terrorism, in my opinion.
And they're also making, like, these mock I forgot what they're called, but they're like, uh, man-made
Molotov
bombs. Yeah,
cocktails, yeah,
and they're just, like, literally, like, just blowing shit up, which
yeah.
is I don't know, it's like, that's the
And
hill you're
my
gonna
thing
die
is,
on.
yeah, and it's like, I'm not saying go all Luigi Mangione and go attack anybody, but you got to remember you're trying to send a message, and I get that, but you guys, potential terrorists, I'm talking to you. You
Mhm.
guys are
Shut up.
hurting people who are just regular workers. Like you are hurting people that they're just doing their job. I actually have
Mhm.
um a friend that I used to work with at my previous employer. Her
Mhm.
son is an engineer for Tesla down in, I think, in Texas, or I forget where he is. But it's like these are regular people who have families. They're just trying to provide, and it's like, are you gonna let your emotions and the way that you feel so strongly, politically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever, affect people who have nothing to do with the fucking situation? Like they're
Mhm.
just trying to get a check. They just graduated college. They're just trying to make money. They get hired by this phenomenal company. They probably went into this company before Elon became a political figure. And the people who own these Teslas,
It's
you
true.
you're destroying their property. You guys are losers. I'm sorry. It just there is a way to go about things, and the way that you guys are going about it, you're hurting regular people just like you and I, who are not in the government. And
Mhm.
I think that's fucked up.
And to your point, which is a valid point, and it is fucked up, but to your point, I might add that the individuals who are scratching up and, like, terrorizing the actual just Teslas in the streets,
Yeah.
I would say that 90% of the people, and this is just pure speculation, I didn't do the stats, I didn't check anything, but just based because it's an EV vehicle, the people who own the very Teslas that you're destroying are Democrats, are the people that believe in energy saving
Yeah.
vehicles, like our regular EV vehicles, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you're literally attacking your own.
Yeah.
You don't see too many conservatives who believe in fossil fuel, um, owning Teslas.
Yeah.
I know a couple people that own Teslas, they're all Democrats. They're all
Yeah.
liberals. So the people that are I don't know. It's kinda like when we had the BLM riots and people were destroying their own communities. I get it, no justice, no peace. I understand the concept of that, but you're destroying the very people that you're trying to protect. The
Yeah.
black business owners, the mom and
Yeah.
pop shops, the same thing. These people, granted, I think I saw also a report where the insurance companies, their premiums for Teslas now skyrocketed.
I believe that. I
So
believe
you're
that.
affecting the insurance, you're affecting the very same people. By the way, cute top, time
Thank
out.
you.
Super cute, my little angel.
Thank
Um,
you.
but it's like you're going after your own people. So it's like
Yeah. That
common
that's
sense, not really.
that is a that's a I agree 100%. I think that you guys are continuing to do what you've always done, and historically speaking, and you're not leading with your head. You're just emotionally Like you're going into caveman mode. You're ooga booging and destroying
Yeah,
shit, and you're not thinking. And it's just like, let's grow up. Like let's do things differently because you're not touching Elon Musk. You're damaging
correct. The
regular
average
people's
American.
lives. Yeah, it's just it's horrible. It's
It's
horrible.
interesting because you said that people are getting, are emotional, and this is the emotional aspect of this. It's a bipartisan issue. Let's be very
Yeah.
clear. We
Yeah.
have people on the left who are emotional as shit and like stop talking to family members and friends, like, but it also exists on the right. So
Oh
this is a
yeah.
bipartisan issue with emotion, but I do want to add, I have this newfound appreciation for Andrew Schultz. He's
Hmm.
a comedian. You know who he is, right?
Yeah.
So Andrew Schultz has a new special on Netflix. I haven't seen it because I boycotted Netflix about a year ago. And
Hmm.
the reason I boycotted them was because I got booted off my sister's account and I refused to pay for it. So I only get to use it if I'm in Florida or if she's here. And but anyway, so I haven't seen it. But because he has this special out, he's been featured on a plethora of podcasts. He
Yeah.
was on the Bill Maher show. He was on PBD. Shout out PBD.
His show Flagrant, I feel, has become a little more politically charged as well.
It has been because I feel
Yeah.
like now he's reached the position where he can say how he feels.
Yeah.
And even Charlemagne, who I can't stand, Charlemagne the fraud, um, he has very good conversations with him and it goes well,
Yeah.
But he said something that I was like, man, that's genius. And he was talking about how facts don't care about feelings, right?
Hmm.
And he's saying how there has to be some beef with him and Ben Shapiro, which I also not a big fan of. I actually left and unsubscribed to the Daily Wire because of Ben Shapiro. I thought it was great. Also,
Yeah.
by the way, I think Jeremy Boring, who is Jeremy Boring, I think it's his name, CEO of Daily Wire, he stepped
Yeah.
down. Shocker.
Yeah. And
But
who's, yeah, I'm not shocked
yeah,
at all.
by the way, we wanna talk about Daily Wire. They lost the top 2, Candace Owens, shout out Candace, you know how I feel about you, girl, and Brett Cooper.
Yeah.
But he has some type of tiff with Ben Shapiro, and he was talking about how Ben Shapiro is always saying, like, "Facts don't care about feelings, facts don't care about feelings." But Andrew Schultz challenged the saying and said, "Feelings don't care about facts." And when
That's
you think
true.
about that, the value of that, to me, the validity of that, shit, like it blew my mind because yeah, facts don't care about feelings. However, we have reached a point in society where feelings don't care about facts.
Yeah.
So you have people who are so emotionally charged, both a bipartisan issue, both sides, who
Yeah.
are so emotionally charged that the facts go out the window.
Yeah.
And I'll
It's
preface this
true.
real quick, and then we'll talk about other things. Shout out to the Yukon Husky girls basketball team. They beat Oklahoma last night. Whoosh. Um, and I was out watching it last night, and I kept thinking, like, man, these girls worked or worked their whole lives to be in the position they're in. Every girl that plays basketball wants
Yeah.
to be on the Yukon Huskies.
Yeah.
I would
For
say
sure.
all the like you have Gino, who's the coach for 1,000 years. Well, he's like the Bill Belichick of college ball. Um, and these girls beasted last night. They beasted.
Well,
They were up by 20 points at one point, and I'm like, yo, this is. It was a great game, and I thought to myself, man, how awful it would have been if they had to play against, or even have somebody on their team, and Oklahoma had to face a trans girl on their team
yeah.
and one of the most important games of, if not the, no, I would say one of the most important games of their lives.
Yeah.
Why? Because feelings don't care about facts.
It's true. I just to like tag off of that. Jess and I were just talking to a friend of ours the other day, and we were talking about how oh gosh, I wish I remember exactly what the how the conversation led to this, but Jesse pulled up a really good stat where he was like, if you look at women's, I don't know, UFC, MMA, all these different um categories of fighting, the percentage of female knockouts is very low because we just do not have the strength to knock somebody out. And it's just like it is what it is. Like I think that Us
And that's
women,
okay.
we're so strong here. We're so strong here. Our bodies are not, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't. I think that is a fact that can never be denied.
No.
Even if you want to include that teeny tiny little percentage of women that can knock a dude out, that are very strong, that are, work their whole lives to get that strong. That is not every female. That's not every female athlete. It just is what it is. There
And I
should.
think it's okay,
It's
and
weird that
I
this is even a conversation. It's weird.
well, when you have the president of the United States making an executive order saying that boys will not play in girls' sports, it's almost embarrassing that we have to say that.
Yeah.
This is the free world. This is like the United States of America. And it's just like, man, like we have gone so far. I don't know. I don't want to make it, I mean, I guess it is a political thing, but we have gone so fucking crazy that the president of the United States has to say, hey, hold on, wait a minute. Biological men and boys should not be playing in girl sports. So watching
Yeah.
that game last night, and I have family members who've played sports since they were teeny tiny little 4 or 5 year olds, t-ball, then
Yes.
softball, then college ball, and
Shout
you
out to
work
you,
your
baby. You know who we're talking about.
yes, yes, yes. We had a few of them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Volleyball players too.
Yes.
And they worked their whole life for this, only to be stripped or be pounded by in the face with a volleyball by it's just like feelings don't care about facts. And I'm with Andrew Schultz on this one. Ben 0, Andrew 1. I think we we've come to a place where if your feelings supersede the facts, then it's going to be problematic. It was a great game. I was just like this thinking like, man, like if somebody just came out and said, I identify with being a girl or a female and I want to play for the Yukon Huskies, which Connecticut is a pretty liberal state, can you imagine what Oklahoma would have faced? Or
Yeah.
vice versa. Or if
Or vice
Oklahoma
versa.
had so
Yeah.
yeah, shout out to Andrew Schultz. I thought that was it was very impressive. It definitely made it impressed me that he said that. And I'm like, damn, I think that can apply to so many different
Yeah. And
issues and.
with my own, like, I guess spiritual beliefs when it comes to like the karmic system and things like that. Another thing that Jesse and I were talking about that I feel like kind of applies to this as well is since the inception of America, trademarks America, not pre-America, but I feel like we were always known as the country that everybody wanted to come to. We were the pinnacle of perfection
Mhm.
almost. And I feel like the pendulum has been so far on one side, like we are just the greatest nation of all nations. And I think that with the pendulum is starting to swing the other way, and we're kind of starting to be the main attraction of the circus. And
Yeah.
I think that we kind of need to go through this like historical global embarrassment to kind of get our bearings back a little bit. Because it's interesting. I remember when I started college, like fresh out of high school, is when I first started hearing about all of these different things that, like, things about like and I have no issues with wanting to explore gender and sexuality and things like that. People should be entitled to do what they do
Mhm.
until they bring that to the forefront of other people's lives who don't subscribe to that. I don't think we should do that. But I
Right.
remember when this conversation started to really blow up, and it was always emotionally charged. You're going to hear it at every campus in America that you go to. It's just such a widespread thing, and it's interesting to see now that so many people who, were the same age as me. I was what, 18 years old, hearing all of these things. Here I am 10 years later, 28 years old, and all these people I grew up with are now fighting back and against that. They're like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Yeah.
I'm about to be 30. I have kids. I have a marriage. I have a business. I have this. I have that. We gotta put that childish shit aside. Again, I'm not saying that it's childish if you want to explore it within your own realm, but the way that this past generation just kind of shoved it down the throats of every single buddy for like the to appease such a small percentage of people,
Yeah.
it's so bizarre. And I feel like again we're seeing the pendulum kind of swing from America, the greatest nation in the world to we got to kind of clean up our reputation because we're a fucking circus.
Yeah. And
You
it's been
know?
going on for a while because if you think about it, everybody knows I didn't vote for Trump in 2016.
Yeah.
Um, he was the first unconventional
Sorry.
um president, in my opinion, or I should say my life,
Yeah.
not in history, but in my life.
Yeah.
The first unconventional man to run for office and actually win. There was
Yeah.
a surge in white supremacy, there was a surge in racism, KKK, all this, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a big, because when Obama was, I voted for Obama twice. I was in my early 20s. Um, but we had our first black president, was a big deal. Then you
Yeah.
got Donald Trump, who's like everybody knew him from The Apprentice, like you're
Yeah.
fired, whatever.
I used to
And
love
then
that show.
yeah, and then he became the president, and he showed us a side of just like he basically, as far as I'm concerned, um, created the term fake news, where he started
Yeah.
calling out the legacy media for lying or for publishing things that he knew weren't true. But which I think
Yeah.
was a great thing because I think that legacy media should be held accountable. But he was saying some funny money shit that some may consider racist. I thought he
Yeah.
was funny as hell. I
I
never
still
thought
think
we would.
he's funny.
I do too. I just never thought we would get to a point where we were that sensitive as a nation, where we're that emotional as a nation. And it's like, so that pendulum you're speaking of, it started with the Trump era. He was
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
crazy shit, even to reporters. He called it the China flu, and people were like, "You can't call it the China flu. That's racist." And then he talked about
Yeah.
the Spanish flu and just things like that. And then we had Mr. Biden, who was also an embarrassment to this nation. And what also made it, embarrassing was, or what, the people that made it embarrassing was the people that was saying that he was she was as sharp as a tack. Is it a tack?
Yeah.
A thumbtack?
Attack. Yep.
Is, is that the saying? Is that what it means?
I'm the attack.
I'm not
Yeah.
really good with metaphors. But oh no, he's sharp. He's ready to take on. They knew like a year and a half, 2 years in that he was declining, that he wasn't, he was tripping over air. He fell off his bike. It's all sad. It's not anything to make fun of. It's not anything to laugh at. But he
No.
is the commander in chief of the greatest nation in the world, that some
Hmm.
people believe, of the free world, and that was also an embarrassment. And I
Yeah.
always say, I commented on a Facebook post one day or a couple weeks ago, and I we were talking about Biden, and I go, "Who is running the country?"
Yeah.
And I got over 100 replies, and you saw it everywhere. It wasn't him. It was this. And it's like, so then there was that embarrassment. Then there's insurrection, or the insurrection came first, the alleged
Yeah.
insurrection. You know how I feel about that. And then Trump again. So yeah, we've become this nation where it's like, maybe I'll stay here and in Poland or wherever. Maybe I don't want to move to the United States. It's just
Yeah.
embarrassing. I still love our country. I still love our military. I still back the blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty interesting to see how the extremes are very extreme on both sides.
Yeah. And it's interesting because probably what I want to say 100 years ago, 101 years ago. So like 1924. Like if you look up just talking about the Democrats, if you look up the Democratic National Convention,
Mhm.
there's a huge KKK presence. I mean, the people who were marching in they were in their KKK attire. I think that when it was deemed evil, like, finally people are like, okay, we can't do this anymore. This is evil. They just hung up their coats and their pointy little hats. They're still doing the same shit that they've always done. You
Yeah.
know, it very much, there's a theory that you and I kind of both have with these presidents, and you're talking about Trump being an unconventional president, but before him, I feel like a lot of these people were curated to become
Mhm.
a future president. Um, so who's to say? I feel like this is the same thing with Obama. It's like, well, we're gonna need a black president soon because the world's going to need it. They're going to need to see it. Let's put him there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just everything is kind of by design, and I think that
Yeah.
it's been by design of the Democrats for such a long time that it's they're scared. I mean, it's they have everything that they put together for over 100 years is being undone right before their eyes. So I think that's a big factor too. I mean, Biden being in office, I mean, it was just to continue that nostalgic feeling of having Obama in office.
That
That's
third
what
term.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's really what it
Essentially.
was. Yeah, you know. And it's like no matter how much he was declining, we need him here because of who he is and how we can emotionally manipulate people with
Mm.
his presence, you know.
It's true. I know that I got a lot of heat for not voting for Kamala, and by people that I love, by the way, dearly. And I got a lot of heat because I didn't vote for someone that I was supposed to vote for because she looked like me and because she represented me.
Yeah.
And again, feelings don't care about facts. I couldn't align myself. So I got a lot of heat because when I say I couldn't align myself with her beliefs and her values or what she presented as, people say, "Hey, but you aligned yourself with Trump." And I go, "Well, what do you do when there's just two?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does your vote go to shit and not acknowledge the fight that women had to go through to have those rights to
Yeah.
vote?" Um, and I'm just the type of person that, and I've said it a million times. I can think of, for those that don't know, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm a female.
Mhm.
Um, who I don't know, Jennifer Lopez. I'm not a big fan of Jennifer Lopez. Let's just say I was because I'm also from the Bronx. She's
Jenny
from the
from the
Bronx. She's Puerto Rican. She's a female.
yeah.
Jennifer Lopez could run for office, and just because she's Puerto Rican from the Bronx and a female, I'm not gonna vote for her. But
Yeah.
I think just like you said, like, oh, we need a black president, we need a black man, it's time. I think that a lot of Americans, a lot of black and brown Americans felt the same way about Kamala. She's a woman, she's a woman of color. She's black, let's get her in. And I just couldn't do that. And I think that
Yeah.
there's two types of people. Either you are able to do that and you're not. And I shouldn't get heat for not being one of those people. I always say this and I say it because it's true. If Tulsi Gabbard ran as a Democrat in 2024, the way she did in 2020, she would have gotten my vote before Donald Trump did.
Yeah.
Shout out Tulsi Gabbard. Girl, you know how I feel about you. Love her. Um, youngest congresswoman in Hawaii. Um, I always want to say she's a vet, but she's actually not a vet. She's still in the military.
Wow.
She did two tours. It's in either Iraq. I'm not sure where, but she did two tours. She's a patriot, loves this country, and she swept the floor with Joe
Mhm.
Biden and Kamala Harris in the 2020 Democratic debate. However, good old Hillary Clinton started that she's a Russian spy bullshit. It's
Yeah.
like the same games, just
Playbook.
different.
Yeah.
Same playbook. They did
Yeah.
it to Trump how many times? Russia collusion, the Russia hoax. They did it to her. So unfortunately, I'm actually glad that she's a newly turned Republican. I'm not glad about that, but I'm glad that she is now. She's the defense. What is she's a DNI? What is that? The national. I don't know. I forgot what it's
Isn't
called,
she the
but
director of national intelligence?
there you go. Yep, she's the
Yeah.
director. There you go. Sorry, I don't know why I had a brain fart. But and I love that for her because she's America first. If she
Yeah.
would have ran, and I wasn't gonna vote for her because she's a woman, because she's Samoan, because she's a maybe because she's in the military, but
Yeah.
I had my own personal why I think she would be great for this country. And a lot of
Yeah.
people didn't like that. I didn't feel the same way about Kamala Harris. And it's
Yeah.
unfortunate. Big time. I won't get into
I
details, but
just
it's
listen, I love you back. I wouldn't have been like I just
I
don't
love you
know.
back. You better thank your union workers. You better thank.
And
Sorry, that was
did
really
you
bad.
see when Kiki Palmer kind of made fun of her to her face? She
No.
was like, she's like, well, you know, Miss
No. I
Vice
love Kiki.
President. She's talking to her. I think it was like an interview she was doing with her. She was like, well, Miss Vice President, we know that you love to work out. Like, hey, we did it, Joe. We did it, Joe. Yeah, we all saw that video. It is so. But you know, Kiki Palmer's a clown. It doesn't matter if
I love
she's friends
her.
with you or not. She's gonna clown you a little bit. It
Shout
was
out Kiki.
it was so funny, and then Kamala was like, "You a mess!" Like it's. I I was cracking up. It was hilarious, but yeah,
No, I
she
didn't
just
see that.
for me, I don't know. She's too much of like kind of like a certain person. We won't say say his name on here, but she's very much a person that doesn't have her own identity, I feel, and she kind of just
Oof. Yeah.
mirrors who she's in front of. Not saying that's a bad thing. You know, you kind of want to fit in. Maybe you're an only child. I don't know. I don't know what your situation
She
is.
has a sister. Her name is Maya.
Oh, well, she's, I don't know, but there's like this thing where she tries to mirror her audience. And again, I don't think that's a horrible thing, but it makes me question like who are you really? I'm never
Yeah.
and that's a big question to ask when you're running for one of the biggest positions in the country. Like I need to know who you are. At least from what I can tell with Trump, it's kind of what you see what is what you get.
Yeah.
Um
There's
I
no
can say this,
negating that.
I could say the same for who else? Damn, I'm trying to give you Democrats some points. I'm trying to think of who else I could say that for. Obama, Obama, I feel like it was kind of also what you see is what you get. He would shake the hand of the white man and then dap up the brother. So okay, I see who you are.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I didn't see him fake a Vietnamese accent. Okay, Kamala, that was just that's beyond me. Like I can't. I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. Especially with your fake book. I'm sorry. Like I don't.
Oh, well,
Uncle
Candace Owens.
Freddie, Uncle Freddie, whose uncle is that? Because it ain't your uncle, sis. I don't know
And
who
the
he is.
grandmother wasn't either. She was like
Yes.
some type of nanny or something like that.
Let me tell you,
Candace Owens did a
Candace,
deep
you
dive in
did
that.
a
Yeah, did
great
you watch
job.
it?
I watched the
Did
whole
you
thing. It was like I was mind blown. Mine was blown. It was really a really good deep dive. Not just shout out to Candace Owens, but her whole team that was
Yes.
put this together. The
And
people in the
people that
comments.
emailed in, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, shout
People
out
from
because that
Jamaica
was
actually reached out to her.
yeah. And
Um,
I don't know what people think. Like, first of all of these islands in the like Caribbean islands, Jamaica. You want to talk about melting pot? It's more of a melting pot than America is because there was so much going on with the slave trade. There are people of every color. Look at Sean Paul. Okay, like
yeah,
there are people of every color living in Jamaica. So
yeah,
living in Jamaica does not make you black. Okay, it makes
yeah,
you an islander. That can mean anything.
yep. I
So
actually encourage you to watch, I don't know if you watched it yet because we haven't spoken about it, but I encourage you to watch Candace's deep dive into Brigitte Macron. Have you
oh
seen?
I seen a little
She's a
bit.
dude. She's a
Excuse me.
dude. She's a dude. First Lady Macron, Brigitte. She went a deep dive with that, which she also had a it's called Becoming Brigitte.
Brigitte,
She
yeah.
had the help of what's his name? Of an author. He's actually the one that Xavier Poussard. That's his name. He
Okay.
actually exposed it, but got censored in France. And so she kind
Oh.
of did a collective piece with him.
Mhm.
And
Aren't they
she's a
attacking her
man.
now? She's getting attacked by them now, right? The
Oh,
Candace?
she's welcoming it because she wants them to just denounce that she wants Bridget to say that she's not a man, but she hasn't because
Yeah,
then she would be lying.
yeah.
So she's encouraging them to come to the courts in Tennessee and like let's like bring it. Here's the thing to explore with that though. Whatever, she's a man. Cool. She's transgender, respect it, whatever. The bigger storyline and the bigger headline here is that now she's involved with pedophilia
Oh,
because
okay. So I don't know much about this. If you want to give me a little bit more.
Brigitte is allegedly the music teacher of Macron.
Okay.
Macron is it? Hold on, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, so Emmanuel, that's his first name. I couldn't remember his first name.
Hmm.
So Emmanuel Macron is the president of France. Brigitte is the
Okay.
first lady of France. According to
Oh, what the
yes,
fuck?
So yeah, did you gotta watch the dive. You gotta watch. So Emmanuel is the president of France. Brigitte
His wife.
is the wife.
Okay.
No.
And he was a student of hers.
Yes. So the age difference between the two
Oh, that's
is
disturbing.
25 years.
You made the hairs on my body stand up.
She was, if allegedly, it's all alleged. Shout out to my little 5 subscribers. I think they're my siblings and my family members. But so if you're gonna sue me, I don't have a following, so nobody's probably gonna watch this. But she is alleged the male music teacher of Emmanuel when he was 15 years old and fell in love with him when he was 15.
So, okay, quick question.
The
Have
law
we
in
ever
France?
seen No, no, no. Have
Okay.
we ever seen what Brigitte looked like when she was a teacher?
He looks like Brigitte as the first lady.
Oh, so this is still transitioned here. Okay.
So what they're saying is
Okay.
Brigitte, let me see if I can find a picture.
I was wondering if that was like if it was Mr. Brigitte or Mrs. Brigitte at the time.
So what they're alleging is that I can't remember the details, but what they're alleging is that Brigitte
That's so
is
sick.
Brigitte is the man who's a teacher
Uh-huh.
who is taking the place. Oh man, I'm gonna screw this up. But there's some brother that went missing and she took his identity. Or vice versa. I don't remember the details, but let me see if I can find
The
this.
brother that went missing became Brigitte, is what you're trying to say. That sounds like that would make more
Yes,
sense.
yes,
Okay.
something to that effect. Yes, yes,
It's
yes,
like
yes.
you died and Brigitte was born,
Correct.
basically. Okay, I gotcha.
And so
Some Pretty
Candace
Little
Owens,
Liars shit.
it really is. So Candace Owens goes on a deep dive and she just looks for old pictures of Brigitte and pictures of the brother. And if you read the comments, people from France are like, "Oh my God, thank you for exposing this. We've been saying this for years. She's a man." And the bigger story is not that she's trans, you know, it is what it is. Like
It's the pedophilia aspect.
it's the
We're just
pedophilic,
grooming this
yes.
boy, and then as I don't know, was he rewarded to become the president or whatever? Like, this reminds me of Obama's story. This reminds
Yes.
me. So
Barry,
you,
Barry
yes,
Spatoro.
yes, Barry had and I have a couple of trans friends. This is no disrespect to
Same.
trans people at
Love
all.
you.
Love
Yeah,
you,
no,
babe.
not at
But
all.
there are some people in your community you need to fucking call out because they're fucking sick. And the only
And
people that
the
can do
people
that
that
are
I know
people
that
in
are
the
trans,
community.
the people that I do know that are trans, they do call them out, by the way. Should
Good,
be noted.
good. Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
as you should, because and you know what's funny? I feel like a lot of them that are the problem in the community, these sick people, they become a part of the community because they don't want to be outed. Like they want to be a part of a group that people kind of like a certain
Except in
religion.
solidarity, yeah, in
Sounds like
solidarity
a
with.
yeah, sounds like a certain religion that people are not a part of this religion and they put the cloak of this religion on for their
Mhm.
own safety, i.e., people who are not actually Jews, and they
Right.
become a part of the faith because they want to be able to say anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic, and it's like, no, you are actually not living by the standards or the rules or the laws of this religion. You are just what's the
Agreed,
word
yeah.
pantomiming this religion. So I feel like there are people who have entered into the LGBTQ community to to basically shield themselves from being outed as pedophiles. They're like, oh, you can't call me a pedophile because like that's fucked up. That's rude. That's anti blah blah
Though
blah.
there's the new name for them, so
Yeah, maps, whatever. Sick
minor attractive
bastards.
persons. We can't be what is it? Offensive. Cut me a fucking break. Like it's yeah,
Tuh.
I know. So yeah, so they're saying they met when she was 15, when he was 15, and
That's
sources
sick.
are saying that's a lie. He was actually 13 going on 14. So there's
Oh
a
my
pedophilic
god.
history to this that I think is the bigger picture, but we'll
Yeah.
see. I mean, if anybody is interested in actually we should share the link if anybody watches this
Yeah, we could put it in the
because
description. Yeah.
it's very very wild. And Joe Rogan even spoke about it on the podcast. He's like, you know,
Really?
people were yeah, he's like, people are saying this and that and whatever. He goes, dude. I'm episode 2 in, and I'm like this, eating my cereal, like whatever he said.
That
And
was
he's
me with
like,
Kamala's book.
yeah, yeah. And he's like, she's a dude. Like, and it is what it is.
And I think
But
these people, and here's the thing, and again, this is why I brought up no disrespect to the trans community or the LGBT community as a whole.
never, yeah.
But you guys have to remember something. Yes, a lot of people become trans because they have gender dysphoria. A lot of people, become trans because they just feel like they weren't meant to be in their body. And I understand that. However, if you look at the spiritual roots of what transsexualism means, it has a lot to do with duality, and it has a lot to do with as above, so below. If you don't know what that means, look it
I
up.
don't know
It's a
anything
whole.
about that, but I know a little bit.
Have you ever seen the Baphomet?
Yeah, yeah, no, no, yeah. I know what you're talking
Okay.
about. What you're
Yeah,
referring to, yeah.
it has to do with duality. And the thing that's interesting about it is these people who practice this stuff, you'll notice that, a lot of these higher people, these people in power, these people who have a lot of pull, how do you go from just being a music teacher to being the first lady of a country? You know, um, you have to remember there are some really demonic ties. This was a practice before it became just a feeling of I don't feel comfortable in my body. This was a religious, spiritual, slightly demonic thing. Um, and they do this because they fetishize kids because of this satanic religion. It's not solely because they're just interested in kids. It is there's spiritual ties. Like these people have a much deeper purpose. And not to, again, I'm not trying to bash anybody's, what it is that they like to do, but just know that there are people who do these things. Yeah, there it is. Um, for demonic reasons. It's kind of like us today on a Sunday. We woke up 8:30 in the morning to get on here and talk. But there are people right now getting ready for church, and they've been going to church every single day of their life. That's their ritual. They go to church every single Sunday. Christians are always going to go to church on Sundays. I don't know what the religion is. Catholics, is it Catholics that put the ash on their
Catholicism,
forehead?
yeah, yeah, Catholic, yeah.
Yeah, people are going to put ash on their foreheads on a Wednesday. There are rituals that just because you don't understand it or you don't subscribe to it, it doesn't mean that they're not happening. And that's the same thing with the dark arts. Like these people, you know,
Yeah.
they put this stuff in the mainstream as well because, and this is just their belief, I'm not saying that this is a real thing or not, it very well could be. The more people that are blindly following their rituals, the more powerful it is. You ever notice too, this is just a theory of mine, you ever notice how around the holidays a lot of bad shit happens, more deaths? Every time I hear of a family member passing away, when my father passed away, it was around Christmas time. I think that there's some weird energy shift that happens around the holidays because we are all blindly following a pagan holiday. We don't know what it means. Same thing with Thanksgiving. We don't know what spiritually, what we're doing, what it means.
We should do a deep dive on the bigger holidays and
Yes,
what the
yes,
meaning is.
we
Christmas
can.
and
Not to
yeah.
go off on a tangent like that, but it's whenever we're sitting and we're again, the feelings don't care about facts. When we're like, okay, but I feel like you're attacking me because I'm trans. I feel like you're attacking me because I'm Christian. This is
Mhm.
or I'm this, I'm that. This is just what we do. This is what you do, but this has been done many, 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 many years before you, and there are dark ties to it. So just to put that out there.
It actually reminds me of how we celebrate the new year in the
We
middle of
dropped the
winter.
ball once again. We dropped the
Like
ball year after year.
like in my mind, the new year is like spring.
It
Like
is.
when I see the germination of my grass, shout out my lawn, shout out the green scene. I love you guys. Like the beautiful blooms and the flowers and the birds chirping, and it's like a revival. It's like everything's coming back to life
Yeah.
after it went into when it went dormant. Instead,
Yeah.
the new year is in the middle of, well, at least in our region, the middle of winter. Like it's just I guess it applies in that way. You know, maybe somewhere in the South or in the Caribbean, the new year is where, I mean, I don't know. I just think
Yeah.
when spring is brewing, that's a representation of a new year. But what do I know? I don't
Well,
know.
that's our timeline is so messed up. I mean, remember
We
our
should do a deep dive.
calendar? Yeah, our calendar that we follow. Who made that? Who made that?
Girl, I don't know.
And again, it's like, you have these certain rituals and you don't have to be religious for this. What are you doing on Friday? You get paid, you're planning to go out, you're planning to have a good ass weekend, go,
Mhm.
by the end of the weekend you're broke again and you're back to being a slave at your job. There are
Yeah.
rituals here, you know?
Yeah, I would like to do a deep dive on the pagan holidays actually, because I don't know enough, but I do know that there's more than what I been taught,
Yeah.
you know. So I'm glad you brought up the Tesla thing. One thing I wanted to bring up briefly, I didn't do my research too extensively in it. I think I heard enough to have an opinion on it. Me have
Yeah.
an opinion? Me have an opinion?
Me? That should have been the name of our
Not me
podcast.
having an opinion.
Not me having an opinion.
Not I. This whole Signal chat group leak, group text leak
I heard a
with
little bit, so
Pete,
you could tell me
Pete
some.
Saghead, who is, it's been a kind of a joke actually, but um, Pete Hegseth, who was confirmed as the United States Secretary of Defense,
Hmm.
he was a Fox News anchor, but I think he was the National Guard as well. Donald Trump appointed him as the Secretary of Defense.
Hmm.
Then you have obviously Tulsi Gabbard. We talked about her earlier. We had JD Vance, who is obviously the vice president. There
Right.
was a group chat that apparently got leaked in the form. I've never heard of Signal. Signal, I can imagine is like Telegram or like a
Yeah.
WhatsApp, and I guess it's
Hmm.
super encrypted, where super secure.
Yeah.
And I'm just laughing because I feel like the Republicans, they don't want to own their shit. And you're not gonna
Mhm.
have somebody like me who's a more recently, I would say, again, I said it on the last pod, 2019, where I went down the rabbit hole, and 2020 was the first time that I voted for Trump. I never, I didn't vote for him before.
Yeah.
Um, so 2019, Abby went down the rabbit hole. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. I want to go this way. So I'm a little bit. Some will consider that I'm very far right. I think I'm center right. I guess maybe because it sounds less. I don't know.
I was
Whatever.
center right before I became straight up center. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but these people, man, like, if I'm gonna call out the Democrats, right, and I'm gonna talk my shit about the Democrats, I have to do the same thing about the Republicans.
Yeah.
So there's this group chat. I think the app is called Signal,
Hmm.
and there was information there talking about an attack on the Houthis, right? And I want to say it was in Yemen. I want
Okay.
to get the facts before I say it, but I want to say it was in Yemen, right? And apparently, um, in the group chat, what's this guy's name? Mike Walls. Walls. So he's a national security advisor for the U.S.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, here we go. I can't share the page because I'm on a different page, but anyways, so basically in this group chat, it was revealed that they were talking about the attack on the Houthis, which is a terrorist organization, just like Hamas, just like these ISIS. Um, so picture this: you
Okay.
and I are in a group chat, and we have some of our friends in there, and then I accidentally add somebody who's not friends with me or us anymore.
Okay.
And this person who not very fond of me gets these messages, right?
Hmm.
Same scenario, except the person that's receiving the message who's not so fond of me is a reporter for The Atlantic, a very
Oh.
liberal,
Yeah.
cited
You're
uh,
giving
media.
fuel to the enemy. Yeah.
So Mike Waltz, which is a national security advisor,
Hmm.
is the one that added this person from The Atlantic to the group chat.
Womp, womp, womp. National security. What?
Thank you. And in this, so they had details as far as when, who, what, where, when, why. They also have JD Vance kind of talking shit about Europe. Like, I mean, I think I pulled it up.
Did you hear
He
that
said,
audio of JD Vance talking shit about Elon?
I did. I mean, I'm not
Was
mad
it
at it.
fake or was it real?
I can't tell honestly. With AI now, I
Yeah,
would only I don't know. It's just like that whole Diddy get rid of the pizza boxes, and
that was fake, and
people actually thought it was real, and they're like, "Get you know what pizza boxes like." So,
yeah,
I don't
not
know if
fake.
I
I'm
believe
sorry.
it.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm gonna try to share this page.
Okay. Yeah, and the last thing you said before I mentioned, I said JD Vance is talking shit about Europe allegedly. So don't. Yeah,
Allegedly,
just
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So this is it's crazy. Um, let me see if I can share this.
Hmm.
Remove this. But anyways, talking about it. So there's I don't want to say it's like an intimate conversation, but they are talking about an attack and blah blah. So this person goes out and reveals that holy shit, there's this group text going on and they added me by accident. If they're adding me by accident, does that mean they don't know what the hell they're doing?
Oof.
So JD Vance is the vice president. P. Hexeth is the news anchor that became um the head of the defense, right? So he's adding Pete Hexeth. If you think we should do it, let's go. Mind you, he's the director of defense. Or yeah.
Yeah, national
I just
security.
yep. He goes, I just hate bailing out Europe again. Let's just make sure our messaging is tight here. And if there are things we can do up front to minimize risk to Saudi oil facilities, we should do it. And then, of course, I don't think they show it all in its entirety. I would have to find it, but it says, I fully share your loathing of, and I'm assuming it says Europe there, but I would have to find it. So there's this
Yeah.
back and forth, and you fucked up. You added the wrong person. So here's my concern. I have two concerns. One of them, I actually didn't think about it until I heard it on the Unusual podcast. Shout out the Unusuals. Vinny. Vinny, you know how I feel about you, Vin.
Is that
Um,
Theo Vinny, Uncle Vinny you're talking about?
Uncle Vinny. That's yeah. Soon to be Uncle Vinny. He won't give me a chance, so it's okay. Maybe one day he'll meet me or I'll meet him. So um the first point is that the gentleman who added the reporter from the Atlantic is now saying, I don't know what type of hack situation is going on here, but there is a possibility that could have been hacked. No, my boy, you did this.
Yeah.
So I can't respect somebody that fucks up and doesn't take accountability. So
Yeah.
of course they're drilling Tulsi, they're drilling everybody. They're saying, how can you guys pretend that you're national security where you can't even um you're giving up declassified information or classified information. This is embarrassing. And
Yeah.
the whole stance was that there was nothing there that was classified. Okay. You were talking about, thank God the mission went successfully. Like
Hmm.
they performed successfully. They took out members of the Houthis. No Americans were injured. Shout out the Benghazi. It gives me Benghazi vibes when
Vibes.
crazy Hillary was destroying her servers or had her people destroy her servers.
Yeah.
Um, so the mission was successfully completed. However,
Uh,
you included somebody that shouldn't have been there. So my concern is this: number
that's
one,
crazy.
why don't you just take accountability? Be like, yo, I fucked up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I added somebody that should have been there, and it's on me. Instead, you have members of government officials going after Pete Hegseth saying, hey, were you drunk in those text messages? Because allegedly
My
he was at a
God.
European event. He was at an event in Europe with a glass of he says it's water. He says he's been sober. And they're accusing him of being a drunk and that he does not fit to do the role.
Oh my
So they're
God.
conflating two things. And
So okay.
he wasn't even the one that added the guy, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. That was gonna be my next question. Like, who added the guy, and was the name of this person that was accidentally added similar to whoever they wanted to add?
He hasn't addressed it.
Because like there are so many factors here. Yes, you fucked up. This is a bad look, but there is a little bit of grace that can be given, even though
You apologize?
the deed is done. Like it's already done. But I just
Mm-hmm.
wonder little things where like, let's say I wanted to add my friend Abigail to a text thread and I accidentally add you. That would make sense. Like
Right.
It still shouldn't be happening on a national security level. However, again, there's grace that can be given if it makes sense. If it doesn't, then what the fuck are you doing? But yeah,
I agree. Let me see how long this is.
yeah.
If it's not too long, we'll play it. Let me see. Oh, I didn't share the screen with volume. My apologies for
Yep.
that. I will. I always do that, by the way. So I'm gonna skip this, pause this, and I always do that. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
But you're right. I think that when you show, just damn, I fucked up and apologize. We were talking about Kamala Harris and we were talking about how there's some things that she does and we're just kind of like, ugh. I wanted to include that. Well, most people, I could assume,
Mhm.
well, most people appreciate authenticity,
Mhm.
your organic self. Who are you? And I think that Kamala would have gotten a lot of love if she would have been authentic to who she is. There was
Yeah.
no authenticity there. And I think that the American people or just the public in general, when they feel like they can relate to you, you can relate to them no matter what position, because Donald Trump is a freaking billionaire. I think he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
And some people relate to him, like the getting the bogus charges put on him, the laissez-faire, they're attacking him, right, as a political opponent. They're coming after him, Russia, Russia, Russia. Some people have experienced that at work. Some people can relate to him on a certain level and they think that he's being authentic. There was nothing
Yeah.
of that in Kamala. The Republican Party needs to do a better job of being authentic and saying, yo, I fucked up. And they're
Yeah.
not doing that. But let me see if this is it right here. Hopefully the volume's on. It is not, but
Will
what's
use, a
that?
lot of people
There we
in
go.
Can you hear
government use, a lot of
Yep.
people in the media use. And I think I'll ask Mike. Mike is here. Do you want to respond to that, please?
Yes, Mr. President, you asked about lessons. I think there's a lot of the lessons. There's a lot of journalists in this city who have made big names for themselves, making up lies about this president, whether it's the Russia hoax or making up lies about Gold Star families. And this one in particular, I've never met, don't know, never communicated with, and we are looking into and reviewing how the heck he got into this room. But I'll tell you what, the world owes President Trump a favor.
Suck
Under
pump.
Biden, global shipping was shut down. Pinprick attacks, months between them, our destroyers being fired upon dozens of times. President Trump took decisive action with his national security team, took out the head missileer, knocked out missiles, knocked out headquarters, knocked out communication sites. And for once, as we hear, as you all hear from every one of our allies, thank God for American leadership again. Thank God for American strength. You're welcome. And look, we had a national security team that was coordinating these efforts. As Director Radcliffe testified today, his first day on the job, he was introduced to this app on his government systems at the CIA and at the State Department and otherwise. So look, this journalist, Mr. President, wants the world talking about more hoaxes and this kind of nonsense rather than the freedom that you're enabling. And a key part of our sovereignty is open sea lanes and knocking the crap out of terrorists, which is exactly what your team and Pete Hegseth, a good friend and fellow veteran, is leading the charge on. And it's an honor.
We had a very, very successful, excuse me,
Thinking about starting to run on the treadmill again. I need to drop.
Sorry, I took you out by accident.
No, that's okay.
Um,
Yeah, no accountability.
Also, he's such a suck pump, dude.
Yeah, no,
Like,
he was.
like he's riding Trump's ass tail. Like,
Yeah,
bro, like just say I fucked up. So that wasn't exactly the clip that I wanted to show, and I apologize because I was not prepared to even talk about this.
that's okay.
I wanted to touch on it, but not in so detailed. But there's a video of him on Fox News, and he's saying that there is a possibility that he could have been hacked. I think it's bullshit. I think you apologize, you move on, you say we had a successful
Yeah,
mission, operation was completed with
yeah.
no harm to any American citizen,
There was a
and
little
you
bit of an excuse in there too. He was like, "Oh, he just got this device, and it was, he never used this app before." And it's like
and you,
no
but
accountability.
I think that's the guy that did it though. I think that's Mike Waltz. I think that's him. I think what he was saying about the app was that I could be wrong. I don't know. We'll look into it. I should have been better prepared. All
That's
I'm saying
okay.
is take accountability.
That's all. That's
Take
all.
accountability because it happens. Now, it shouldn't
Yeah.
happen on a defense, like
National security level.
national
Yeah.
security level.
Yeah.
But I thought it was bullshit, and I feel like this is where you lose a lot of people who left the left.
Yeah.
because you can't take accountability for a fuck up to that magnitude.
Yeah.
And so the other point there was 2 points I wanted to make as far as what I learned on the PBD podcast. I'm sorry, on the Unusuals podcast. Shout out Valley Statement. Was that a while? It was months before. Remember Tucker Carlson did the Putin interview in Russia?
Yeah.
Months before that happened, a good friend of his who works for the government
Hmm.
said, he actually talked about it, said, hey, are you available to have lunch? Are you available? Yeah, what's up? He's like, typically people just text me things. He
Yeah.
met with him and he asked him specifically, he goes, are you planning to go to Russia? And he's like, at this, Tucker Carlson never even told his wife he was going. Never
Yeah.
told his wife, never told his kids, because this was a big project. He's like, I'm doing my job as a journalist.
Yeah.
And he said, what? He goes, are you planning to go to Russia? He goes, what are you talking about? He said, I know you're planning to go to Russia. So he ended up telling him, like, I am planning to do an interview.
Right.
He told him that the NSA hacked his phone. And there was talks about Carlson going to Russia before he even went.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility. I don't think that's what happened here. I think this guy fucked up and he added the wrong person. I think the guy's name is Goldberg from The Atlantic. She's like a reporter.
Yeah.
So I learned that Carlson's phone got hacked by the NSA. I think it's the National Security Agency.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is what happened. But then they also said, and you're going to love this, is if Goldberg from The Atlantic reported this, which they're considering classified information, why isn't he considered? And shout out to the Unusual Suspects, because this is where I got that. I'm like, oh my God, that's true. Why aren't they considering Goldberg, who reported it, a threat to democracy, a threat to national security, a threat to the American people, just like Julian Assange was
Right.
for revealing those emails, just like Edward Snowden was when he released information of the I think it was the NSA.
Yeah.
He went and reported on this.
Yeah.
So he published and let the world know that he got added into a national security text chain, and this is what was told.
Yeah.
Are you not a Julian Assange at this point? What's
Yeah.
the difference?
Depends on who you're reporting on.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Say it one more time.
It depends on who you're reporting on.
Absolutely. If you're
Yeah.
reporting on the Clintons, if you're reporting on the Obamas, if you're reporting on the far left liberals,
You are a national terrorist.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
However, if you want to leak a chain link or a text chain on an attack in Yemen, now it's so it's the double standards for me.
I think we need to. The thing is, it needs to be. Yeah, it's just like I don't know how we can rectify what's been done to the whistleblowers that have been deemed national terrorists. I don't know how we can fix or compensate, because for me, that you should not be in trouble for that. You should not have any sort of legal troubles. I think that we live in a country of what? Of free speech. And I understand things that should be classified and things that are like in the works in the government and things like that. But without these type of people that literally put their neck on the guillotine to inform us of things that can and will, affect us as citizens, who are we supposed to trust? The scripted media? The scripted news? It's just, I don't think anyone should ever be scared or get into any sort of trouble or should be retaliated against for telling the truth. I just,
I think the problem with Edward Snowden is that he was working as a government contractor at the time.
Yes.
So there's some type of NDAs that you probably have to sign.
Yeah.
But he was like, what the is going on here? And I'm gonna share this.
Yeah, because you had regular, again, these government contractors. I don't know if you ever watched the movie, where it kind of goes into depth about what was going on. And there was a
No.
documentary as well. He in the documentary was cool. I think it was a documentary or an interview. I don't remember. He shows at how to completely secure your phone and anti-NSA your phone. Like
Oh,
the different,
nice.
yeah. The problem is now, because that information was released, it's going to be very hard to do it on your standard new generation phones because everything is glued together. And if you mess with one part of your phone, you damage the entire thing. And that's another topic. But they kind of put it into perspective, like what it is he saw that he was bringing to the table, and it wasn't just about national like security, like on a grand scale, but even just little everyday Americans. Like they showed a part where like one of his colleagues was like watching a girl on her webcam.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
it
it's
says,
just
I mean, it's Wikipedia, but it says here that he was indicted for espionage.
yeah,
He revealed numerous global surveillance programs, many run by NSA and the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance with the Corporation of telecommunication companies and European governments, and prompted a cultural discussion about national security and individual privacy.
privacy. Yeah.
Um,
Ugh, gives me the heebie-jeebies.
So I believe he still lives in Russia. He has citizenship there, and now do you remember I don't know if you watched it, the Tulsi Gabbard confirmation? They were trying to make her call him a terrorist.
Yeah,
Was
you're
a
telling me
terrorist,
about that.
and she was just like and she wouldn't say it because I think to a certain extent, some people see him as an American hero,
Hero. Yeah.
and she was like, all I can say is, there would never be another Edward Snowden under my watch. That's the best she could say.
Yeah.
Let me see if I find the clip because it was pretty sick. They were just drilling her, and she wouldn't say it. She's just like trying to find the shortest video, but they went in on her ass for a while.
Was Edward Snowden a traitor to the United States?
Oh, I'm sorry. They gave him the name of a traitor.
A traitor. Yeah.
You mind if I show it, or
You can go for it. Go for it.
all right, awesome. I don't think the volume is going to be on, so I'm going to do it over and remove it. And I think she handled it the best she could, because if you say the wrong thing and you're politically incorrect, this is your confirmation hearing to be the DNI. But all right, let's go for it. Let me know if you can hear
Edward Snowden a traitor to the United States of America?
Senator, I will also repeat my answer. He broke the law.
You said earlier that you were offended by a question that my colleague from Kansas
She's so
asked,
beautiful.
which I think
I
was
love
his
her.
duty as
Tulsi.
somebody on this committee to fulfill his responsibility to advise and consent. We are not here to be a rubber stamp for the President of the United States. So let me ask you again, do you believe, as the chairman of this committee believes, as the vast majority of members of our intelligence agencies believe, that Edward Snowden was a traitor to the United States?
Pause. He should have said, he never said how the American people feel. He said members of the intelligence.
It doesn't matter. Because it doesn't
Thank
matter.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
United States of America.
Senator, if confirmed
This
as
is when the
Director of
rubber
National
hits the road.
Intelligence,
Let her finish.
I will
This is
work
not-
with you to make sure
This
that
is
there is
not
not
a
another
moment for
Snowden-like
social
leak.
media.
Not the finger.
It's not a moment to propagate theories, conspiracy theories, or attacks on journalism in the United States. This is when you need to answer the questions of the people whose votes you're asking for
She got it, baby.
to be confirmed
Fuck off, Bennett.
as the chief intelligence officer of this nation. As my colleague said, this is not about you. It's about the people that serve the intelligence agencies of the United States.
You hold them accountable.
Is Edward Snowden a traitor to the United States of America?
Cálmate. Jesus.
That is not a
Look at
hard
her.
question to answer.
She's so hot. She is so hot.
She's awesome. You got to see her work. Like,
Senator, as
in her
someone
soldier.
who has
Your
served
answer,
in
yes
uniform.
or no, is Edward Snowden a traitor to the United States of America?
As someone who has
I'll go on
worn
to
our
my
uniform
questions.
in combat, I understand how critical
Let's
our
go,
national
Tulsi.
security
Apparently
is.
you don't. Apparently you don't.
You're not letting her answer the question.
Do you realize why she would have gotten my vote? I am such a huge Tulsi fan. And if Hillary Clinton,
she's hot.
She's
sorry.
She's
Not to be
Hawaii. She's
disrespectful.
Samoan from Hawaii, and she was the youngest congresswoman in Hawaii as a Democrat. Is a soldier, by the way, loves this nation, loves this country, and I'm just so glad that she got confirmed. But this is what they do, right? They try to attack and they try to attack. I think that what happened with Signal was stupid. And I think that an apology just needs to be warranted and say we screwed up in that.
Yes.
I love
100% agree. I
wish she ran.
This little skunk thing she had going on her hair.
Oh, that's her thing.
I just had heart eyes. I'm like, wow, like she's hot.
That is literally her thing.
Super calm, cool, and just like you got this old white dude spitting into the mic with his halitosis,
yelling at her,
telling her this is yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. Like, sir, respectfully, shut the fuck up. Like, you're doing way too much. Doing way too much.
Yo, I can't.
It reminds me of.
Stop playing with me, girl.
Yeah, we love her. We love her. We need to figure out what's her sign. She might be my new political crush.
Like legit, I've been talking about Tulsi Gabbard on Facebook for years, and people don't even know who she is. She's just so fire, bro. Like
she
is.
So she's an Aries. That I can see that.
This is my favorite picture.
Her birthday's coming up.
Hold on, not that one. There's one that I saw. Oh, never mind, I lost it. But she's just so dope. And it's unfortunate that people like Hillary Clinton, that's not her. Hillary Clinton almost ruined her career by calling her a Russian asset. And after that, the American people were just like, what? But those who stuck out and those that did their
imagine putting your life on the line, on the front lines, and being called. That would be the greatest showman. Like, if you're trying to be the most believable, but you're a fucking spy, and you go into the military and just like give your life, and then you go into it. Hillary, respectfully, disrespectfully, shut the fuck up.
Congresswoman Gabbard.
That is crazy to even utter something like that.
But it worked. And so the rumor was that Hillary Clinton was intimidated by her. She was becoming popular very quickly.
Yeah.
And she's like, we got to get rid of this girl. But this is I'm sorry, I have to show you this because I don't know if you've seen it, but I have to show you this because it's going to drive you crazy. But this is the 2020 debate. Like I said, had she ran in 2024 as a Democrat, she would have gotten my vote before Trump did.
Yeah.
Hopefully the volume's on.
Congresswoman Gabbard, you took issue with Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate. You called it a, quote, false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
At the Breakfast Club.
She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison on their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work.
There's nothing fancy about it. It was just facts.
To use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about reentering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who are on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
Period.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not seek the death penalty. That is my background. That is my work. I am proud of it. I think you can judge people by when they are under fire, and it's not about some fancy opinion on a stage.
Fancy again.
To actually make a decision, what do they do? When I was in the position of having to decide whether or not to seek a death penalty on cases I prosecuted, I made a very difficult decision that was not popular, to not seek the death penalty. History shows that, and I am proud of those decisions.
Not a clap, not a cricket, not a sound.
Crazy. And then what's crazy too is that one of the guys that was gonna get the death penalty, and then the courts made her present some evidence.
Yeah.
Came out right before the election of Kamala and Trump, saying like, I would have never been here. He dragged her.
Wow.
And this is the same Kamala Harris in that very same debate that she called Joe Biden a racist to his face. You're a racist. Everybody knows you're a racist. And then she was his vice president, and they were kumbaya. But that's Tulsi Gabbard. Love her.
She is my new political crush. So there's that. And fancy this, fancy that. It's so
talking
funny.
Points at a stage.
It reminded me of like, if you're talking to someone and you don't like what they're saying and they just do that thing, they're like, well, blah, 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 blah. Well, excuse me. That's what that reminded me of. Like, come on,
that's pretty
girl.
much what she's been,
Yeah.
but she did get confirmed. And like I said, she would have had my vote before Trump.
Yeah.
Who is, a soldier, blah, blah, blah. I stated all the reasons. She would have had my vote before Trump.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party. So it's crazy because now the Democratic Party is like, we need a Joe Rogan in the Democratic Party. We need bro, you had the Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
You lost him.
Yeah.
They lost Joe Rogan. They lost Tulsi Gabbard. She was a congresswoman for the Democrats. They lost RFK. They lost a Kennedy. A Kennedy.
Yeah.
Which I'm having questionable feelings about him, but we'll address that another pod. But thank you for allowing me to play that, because I'm a huge Tulsi fan, and they were giving her shit this past week about Signal as well, and it's just been a nightmare for the Republican Party. And I think that they just apologize, move on, move forward, and don't let it happen again. That's it.
It's just like, take accountability. A lot of people will respect you more. I mean, it is what it is. That's just
100%.
The bottom line in politics and everyday life. It is what it is.
100%.
We are approaching the 1 hour and 30-minute mark here.
Yes, just realized that.
So, do you want to maybe? There was something that you wanted to talk about actually, that pertains to you, that's specific to you. Do you want to get into that?
Was it the senator or was it the double T?
Double T.
Oh, I can say it in 30 seconds and then we can play your video.
Okay. No, take your time.
Fuck TikTok. I'm new on TikTok. I don't know shit about TikTok. It's giving me very Instagram-y vibes. I remember in 2020, I was going back and forth with somebody on Instagram, and I wrote Joe Biden is a treasonous coward. And I got this alert on my Instagram. You are running the risk of getting your page deleted. And I'm like, okay, I have 800 followers, friends that I went to high school, middle school with. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But that was like my first ever like real like holy shit, censorship is real. Because
it's calmed down considerably on Instagram considerably. Yeah.
So
a
my
lot.
opinion was just an opinion. I
Yeah.
believe that Joe Biden is a treasonous coward. I'm
Yeah.
not threatening him. I'm not harassing him. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And I got that warning from Instagram.
Yeah.
Last week I posted a short on TikTok, which shout out YouTube. I got 260 something views, I think. Is that where we're at now? Which by the way, I only have 5 subscribers, so shout out to whoever watched it. And I did have 3 engagements with 3 individuals that did comment. I am at, let's see, I'm excited about it. 273 views.
Okay, there you go.
And it was just basically Jasmine Crockett, Democratic Congresswoman, who called the governor of Texas Hot Wheels. He's in a wheelchair, which, by the way, I didn't even know he was in a wheelchair. And I just gave my view on it. I called her ratchet. I thought she was acting real ratchet in her little speech, whatever. And TikTok gave me a, what was it called? A strike.
A strike. Yeah.
So I guess if I get 2 more or 3 more, I'm banned from TikTok. TikTok, I never even had you for, how long has TikTok been out? Since 2020?
No, that's when it really developed.
I feel like TikTok 2016. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was gonna say, yeah.
So I hadn't had TikTok since 2016 up until 2 months ago when you and I decided to do a pod.
Yeah.
I'm already on strike 1 for harassment. So you can appeal the guideline, like the guideline,
yeah, like
the violation.
Yeah.
And my question was, who did I harass? Who did I harass? And my assumption is, and I think you brought it to my point. I know you brought it to my point, but my assumption is, thanks to you, is that somebody reported the video.
Yeah.
Because I did have about 12 comments that I didn't even know I had because I'm not getting notifications. People defending Jasmine Crockett, saying they love Jasmine Crockett. One person even went as far as saying that Governor Abbott is a piece of shit. Did she get flagged for saying that or nah? Just me. So TikTok, you're bullshit. I actually am kind of disappointed that I even went and got a TikTok because I feel like TikTok consumes people in a way that I'm just not a fan of. So TikTok, I might not be using anymore. Either I just decide it's a stupid ass app that I don't want, or B, they're gonna boot me anyway. But I was pretty pissed about that because I didn't harass. It was harassment and discrimination is what I got. And I didn't harass anybody and I didn't discriminate against anybody. What I said was I thought it was ironic that Jasmine Crockett was on a human rights campaign saying this speech, fighting for human rights, while calling Governor Abbott, who it doesn't matter if you're a fan of or not, calling him Hot Wheels while he's in a wheelchair. And I thought that she was all extra, blah, 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 all this nonsense. And I included that I didn't know who was more obnoxious, her or AOC. Apparently, I was harassing somebody. So TikTok, fuck you. And excuse my language.
Did you end up having to delete the video?
Oh no, they took it down.
They took it down completely. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see it on your TikTok.
No, it says it's there, but it's blurred out and it says unavailable and it says violated community guidelines.
Wow.
So what is this? Now and I should probably do this. I almost want to do a social experiment.
Okay.
What if I do something similar attacking Donald Trump and JD Vance? Will I get taken down then?
I think you should. I think that should be we should try that. The TikTok.
Okay, operation. What should we call this operation?
Operation. Ooh, we got to think about this because
Operation One-Sided.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna do. This is gonna be
Operation
a pure social.
Coin Flip.
What is it?
Operation Coin Flip.
Operation Coin Flip. I like it. I think I'm gonna do a social experiment. And I am going to do the same amount. I think it was like 1 minute and 20 seconds. A minute and 20 seconds, however, they to the T exactly.
Yeah.
Bashing Trump, which I didn't bash anybody. It was an opinion. I felt that she was acting ratchet, which in my opinion means classless, means ghetto, means like extra. Yeah. I said she was ratchet. I said that I don't know who's more obnoxious or insufferable, her or AOC. And I said that she called them Hot Wheels. And I said that she was at a human rights campaign.
You literally would have to go to the lengths of what's her name, Kathy Griffin. Remember when she did that photo shoot of cutting off Trump's head? Yeah.
Yes.
You have to go to that length to finally be like, okay, now you're canceled.
So this is going to be a
God.
social experiment, and it's going to be Operation Coin Flip, and you heard it here first. Thank you for that idea.
You're
Thank you
very
for that
welcome.
name.
Yeah.
And I know you wanted to share something, so shoot.
Yeah. So actually, do you want to segue into our question of the week, which is a new thing that we're going to be implementing on the podcast as well?
Yes. You just got to give me a second because for some reason it locked me out. I wonder if there's a way we can just add it as a banner for now. You keep talking about what it is that we're trying to do. I don't know why it's sending me in as my personal page.
Yeah, do you think so? Something else that we're going to be implementing on the Have You Heard podcast, and maybe we'll do it towards the end of every video. I feel like that would make a lot of sense. It'll be fresh in everybody's mind, and then you can go ahead and comment your thoughts below. But we're going to do like a question of the week kind of thing where we, come up with a question that kind of sums up what we were talking about in today's podcast, and we'll give our answers. And then you guys can go ahead and comment your answers down below. Whoever has like the best or most intriguing answer, we'll go ahead and give you a shout out in the next video and add, a screenshot of what your answer was to the question of the week. So
I wish I could have made it into like a PowerPoint and not look like, you know what I mean? Like with all this background. Oh, can I do this? I'm going to take this off the screen just in case something else comes up, but oh no. That. Okay, we'll do it.
Can you make it full screen? Like click on it and
I don't know. I don't know how to.
Gotcha. Well, we're still working on it.
Download, so let's see. Okay, but you can keep explaining. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I thought I pretty much explained it. So that's what it would be. Let me see here. Yeah, if it's gonna make you have to download it every time, we got to figure out a way to make it. What the heck?
Yeah, even if I download it, it's not gonna show. It's not gonna open up.
That's so strange.
Because I'm trying to open it as the only options it's giving me is Notepad, Windows, Word, Windows Media Player. So we'll show like this for now, and then we'll get better versed in it.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Are you okay with that? Yeah, I do it. That's on me. It's not even your fault. It's totally on me. I apologize. We're gonna make sure none of this background is around. But yeah, go ahead, shoot.
Okay, so for this week's question of the week, what cues should you look for when a conversation with someone holding an opposing viewpoint begins to heat up, and how can you effectively agree to disagree? And if you want to answer it first, I would love your opinion on this.
I can answer this based on my experiences and solely because I get heated conversations pretty often because of who I voted for. I think there's things to consider. Is it in-person conversation? Are we visibly are we in the same room together?
I think in this respect, I think let's keep it to just virtually, just because online. A lot of these conversations are happening virtually right now.
Okay. So yeah, I think online, I think some of the cues that I personally look for is when the subject matter is no longer what we're talking about, and now there is personal shots, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, you voted for Trump, so you must be this.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you voted for Trump, so you are this.
Assumptions.
And, assumptions. And so number one, I would say when it now becomes personal, it's no longer about the subject matter. And number two, I would say you're able to identify with like the length of how it becomes like one text to like a paragraph to like a story. And then the engagement part is really hard for me because I love to engage, and it's easy for me to engage without insulting somebody or making assumptions of somebody and just using facts. But sometimes I can get out of pocket, and sometimes I will fall victim to that. Yeah. So virtually, just log off if you're able to do it. I know it gives this dopamine effect when you're like, Twitter fingers, right? Like you're talking shit, but it can't be good for your mental health is what I'm gonna say.
And what would you do because logging off, I feel like it could be the equivalent of just like running away in person or leaving in person. What would you effectively do to kind of simmer the conversation down, especially if it's someone that you love or somebody that you're close with,
Oh,
you know?
that's easy because this is what I do because
Mhm.
I fall victim to this is well, not really thank them. If it's somebody that I talk to every day, I'm like, oh, I thank you. But if it's somebody
Yeah.
online that I don't know, I say thank you for your comment or thank you for your opinion. But
Mhm.
what I do is I always want them to know that no matter how badly I do not agree with them, I respect their opinion.
Yes.
I just got into a heated argument with a really good friend of mine over this, and where the comparison to me voting for Trump, the comparison that was made to me voting for Trump was something that I couldn't even believe was said. And I'm not, and I'll leave it private, but
Yeah.
I was kind of like, what the, like you, that's what you think about me? Like, you know me as a person. And just because we voted differently doesn't mean that you do not know me anymore, that I changed.
Yeah.
So I actually experience this a lot, but I always want the person who I'm debating or talking shit to or talking shit with, I always want them to know that I respect their opinion no matter what. And I
Yeah.
try to have grace because I was once a Hillary supporter. I once
Yeah.
was a Obama supporter. So just because I think differently than you doesn't, I'm not better than you. I don't know more than you. I'm not smarter than you. I try to have grace with you, and I try to let it be known that I do respect your opinion. I think it's
There you go.
important.
Yeah, I think so too, especially in this climate right
Oof,
now. It's a crazy one.
it's hot.
Yeah, I think the problem is um what's the word? Like that mob mentality and
Mm-hmm.
assumption of mob mentality, where it's like, okay, so you voted for this person. This tells me everything I need to know about you, and that's
Right.
not true at all. Um,
Couldn't be further from the truth.
yeah, and it's just like for example, I was, a person that I'm naturally very attracted to things that are unknown. And I'm very attracted, and I can fall victim very easily to falling for conspiracy theories. I've known that
Mm-hmm.
about myself for a while because it's just such an attractive thing. And knowing that now about myself, I choose to take a step back and try to look at, okay, am I being conspiratorial, or am I thinking logically right now? So I feel like being able to have that insight on myself when I do have these conversations with people that can get heated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like now people will kind of look at this as me being soft, but you know,
You think so?
I think so. I feel like people could look at me like I'm being soft because I don't fight back as hard as I used to. Because for me, I'm thinking about, okay, your experience and everything that you have been through in your life has led you up to make this decision about what is real and what is not.
Mm,
So
right.
me knowing that, I think about now, like I cannot fight against whatever your opinion is, even if there's pure facts. You could tell me that you think the sky is green, okay? For me, there is something in your lens, in my opinion, might be a little bit foggy, and you're seeing it as green when we all know it to be blue, but that's your experience, and I'm not going to fight you on what your experience is.
Mm-hmm.
What I like to do now is you know, I try to give my opinion without, what's the word? I guess I could say I'd like to give my opinion without having to fight. I guess that's what it is. I don't want there to ever be a point in the conversation where it feels like, I'm pushing you to believe in what I believe in. I don't
Right.
want that because again, my walk of life and what I've experienced and what I've been through and just my chemical makeup makes me believe in what I believe in, and that's okay. You don't have to believe in it, and I don't have to believe in what you believe in. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like to answer the second part of the question, how can you effectively agree to disagree? I genuinely say that. Well, I disagree, but thank you for sharing. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's hard because, and this is why I kind of wanted to do the question of the week kind of thing where we can get into these because I feel like um it brings everybody's perspective to the table and it might add a little something to your perspective or add a little something to mine. So yeah, that's kind of what I actually
Good question.
another thing that I forgot to tell you about that I got into. Have you remember that show Impractical Jokers? Remember that?
Yes.
Did you hear about what's going on with Joe Gatto?
Yes.
So
yeah,
I got into it. I actually got like over 3,000 likes on this comment, and I ended up deleting it because I'm like, I want to sleep at night. I don't want to go through this.
3,000. Let's go. Where was that at?
This was on. Oh, remember the YouTube channel I told you about, the Paranormal Files? The guy that yeah, it was on his Instagram page.
Do you want me to leave the question up, by the way, or do you want to?
No, we answered it. There are other, if you guys can answer the question below, and we'll, pick whichever one I think that I think deserves to be highlighted.
That's awesome. 3,000 likes, but I can't wait to hear.
So yeah, the video was about the first set of allegations, which was this girl, that she met him at brunch, which it was like a super random thing. Like she went to this brunch spot. He happened to be there. I think he's married and he has kids. Yeah, I think so. And she's like, "Oh my God, I love your show. I'm a big fan. Can I take a picture with you?" He's like, "Yeah, of course." They take a picture. He's like, "Well, I'm actually in the area because I'm going to be doing a show. You should come see." She's like, "Yeah, I'm going to buy tickets right now." She buys tickets. And the thing that's interesting is in her video, because she made this video on TikTok outing him, saying she was assaulted by him. If you look, she shows screenshots of their messages back and forth. She's an attractive girl. She's very pretty. If he's cheating on his wife, that is not my business. For me, you're scum just in that aspect, but I don't think that makes you a rapist. But unless you actually did the alleged crime.
Did the thing.
Yeah. Right. So at first she's showing their text thread conversations, and then the text thread conversations turns into later on after the show, which I'm like, girl, you are chasing this guy all day. Like, you met him for brunch, you went to his
my
show.
little Candace always doing her own little research. Okay.
You're messaging him, like, what is happening? The second set of text threads that she is showing, she completely blocks out her side of the conversation.
Stop.
So all you see is
discredit all day.
Yeah. For me right there was the number one red flag. She just shows him talking about how to get into her hotel room, how to get to his hotel room. So like giving her directions. And I'm like, okay, so you take the directions. You're obviously not that drunk. You take the directions, you walk to his place, you get there, and then you take a picture of this massive bruise on your ass cheek saying that he bit her on the ass or whatever. And I'm like, there are too many missing pieces. I used to be a person where it's believe anybody. Yeah, believe all victims. And it's like, or not all victims, let me say, scratch that, believe all women. Believe all people making the allegations. And you could really ruin somebody's life like that. What would be the reason for her to say that? I have no idea. People could say money. People could say 15 minutes of fame. I have no idea. I don't know who this girl is.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Has your view changed now that you're a parent? Or what was the ultimate, like, what was the driver that made you think like, whoa?
It's because Candace Owens
Candace Owens always talks about how she's a mom of, I think she has 2 boys.
Yeah.
She's about to have her 3rd. And she's married. She has a husband.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you don't believe all women. You do the research. You read the police report. You read but I'll let you finish. I was just
actually, yeah, it changed before I became a parent.
Okay.
Yeah, it actually happened with the Chris Noth from Sex and the City, Mr. Big, when those allegations first came out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and again, I don't even know much about that case to even have an opinion. Like, I don't know where the case has went since all of that came out, but I had a coworker, and I value the opinion of older folks, okay, more than my peers, because they've been around the block longer.
They've been through some things.
And me and her always talked about Sex and the City because she loved the show. I love the show. We talked about the reboot and all these things. And I tell her one day at work, I'm like, did you hear about what's going on with Mr. Big? And she's like, yeah, but like, he's innocent until proven guilty. Like there needs to be due process. Like you can't just be guilty by the court of public opinion. Like there needs to be proof. And my thing was, well, how can there be proof? This was so many years ago. She's like, if this was so many years ago, why is it being brought up now? What would be the reason now? And again, I don't have a foot in the case. I don't know much about it, but just her explaining to me that, like, the obvious, there needs to be due process, there needs to be a trial, there needs to be evidence. And, it could be a very gray area, because how can you prove something that happened 10, 15 years ago, physically to you? But it's just, it made my mind kind of switch and realize, actually, no, that's true. How can I say something is certain if it's never been proven to be certain? We just are having the word of one person. You know what I mean?
It's true.
So that's kind of what changed my mind about that.
You should check out the Harvey Weinstein series that Candace is working on now.
Oh God.
She says the first thing she says is, people consider me an anti-Semite. People like Harvey Weinstein hate me. We have nothing in common. He's despicable. However, read the police reports, read the witness statements, and read the actual allegations. And she's going down the rabbit hole like, holy shit, this guy got 20 years. And it's the same. That's why I said, okay, my little Candace Owens, she went through the same exact thing. She went through the messages of the girls, of one specific girl that she's focusing on. And it doesn't look good.
Oh God.
And she's just not even, this kind of just fell on her lap.
The thing that
she's still a scumbag.
Yeah, the thing that makes me feel like he could be a different case is because there's a lot of, it's like one of those things that's like the Diddy parties. Like, everybody joked about the Diddy parties. People within the conspiracy theory realm, we all knew what a Diddy party meant before everybody started to realize what it meant. There was always an ongoing joke about Harvey Weinstein's basement. Even in Family Guy and like all of these other shows, there was always these ongoing jokes about.
But that doesn't make you guilty of anything.
No, correct. But if anyone's going to know, Hollywood's going to know. You know what I mean? I think it's deeper than just these grown women that are saying whatever they say.
Yeah, but these grown women are the one that put him in prison.
But my point is, there were a lot of other things that came out about him that are not touching the court. Kind of like that Jeffrey Epstein thing. There's a lot of things that we know to be true that is never going to touch the court because these victims were little kids that are probably not alive. Like that kind of thing.
So I guess my concern would be this. So sometimes officers joke about this. Sometimes, not they don't joke about it, but let me rephrase that. Yeah. I guess you can look at somebody, a criminal, who got incarcerated for a DUI, right? Let's just say that it's his third or his fourth DUI, so now he has to serve time. And let's say that he's serving time for that, but he's also been beating the shit out of his wife and has had domestic violence charges against him. But the judge never found him guilty. A jury of his peers never found him guilty. The DUI and the incarceration for that, does that make it okay? Does that, how do I explain it when it makes sense? Because I'm losing it. It's like sometimes you get arrested for a crime that you scratch the whole story I just gave. I don't know why I said that, but look at it like this. If I got arrested for something that I didn't commit, but I have committed crimes, does that arrest justify the crimes that I didn't get caught with or caught for? So let's say I get arrested for allegedly fraud. And I'm like, Mox, that wasn't me. Like, I didn't do that. But I did steal from Macy's, but I didn't get caught from Macy's. Does that arrest for fraud make up for the crime that I did commit and didn't get caught for? Does that make sense?
No, I get exactly what you're saying. I understand that, but when we're talking about cases of like sexual assault, I think somebody explained that every single what was it? There was a cop that I watched, like he was talking on body cam Every single case of sexual assault is a different case. It's a different, each and every single person is a different case. Yeah, so exactly what you're saying.
Which is my point.
Yeah, but the problem, I this is just me personally, you know, what happens, like look at the R. Kelly case for a second. If he had not recorded himself engaging in sexual acts with a 13, 14-year-old girl, and she never told, is it still a crime? Or
but he didn't get arrested for that. He's not in jail because of that.
That's exactly my point. By the way, she died. She died like 2 years after that video came out. I don't know if you know that.
How did self-inflicted or?
I don't. Somebody said something about a plane crash. I don't know what that's about. But that's my thing, where it's like, and that's what I meant with like the gray area, especially with like these sexual assault cases. It's like these people who are claiming to be victims because they want their, again, whatever it is, they want their 15 minutes of fame, their money, whatever. It's like when these cases actually do happen, and remember too, these people in Hollywood that we're talking about, we can go back into the pedophilia of it all. A lot of these kids are never going to be found again, never going to be seen again, are trafficked to the next country. You know, it's like, it's hard. And I think that's why
it's hard.
I've been seeing a lot of people giving backlash about the whole Harvey Weinstein thing, because I feel like, yes, and it goes back into like with the Tate brothers as well. It's like, yes, in on paper, we can go ahead and say that there were no crimes committed, or the crimes were falsified or fabricated. But it's like,
but the legal system doesn't work that way. So I guess my question is this: if he SA'd 5 girls, and so the 5 are over here, we have 5 girls that he did this to, and then there's 1 girl who is accusing him and he's going to prison for, but she's lying, never happened, she's accusing him. Does that incarceration make it okay because he did this to 5 girls, or the law has to be the law and the law has to play out and an appeal has to be made?
I guess this ties into the facts versus feelings thing again, you know, because
this girl testified about his testicles and he doesn't have testicles.
Ew. How long has he not have testicles? Ugh, I don't even want to know.
He had a disease like a gangrene. What is it called? Like a fungus of some sort. He has no testicles. Yeah, he got a disease when he was younger. And this girl was saying, I remember his testicles and what he was doing. And he's like, he hadn't had them since he was like a young adult.
Ew. I'm sorry not to keep ewing, but this is the
I know
visuals.
Well, I don't think about the visuals. And then the emails, she's asking him for plane tickets to go back to LA to see him. She's asking like, hey, I'm going to do this pilot program. Do you know anybody that's working on, like, literally a survivor of a situation like that? Again, we all deal with things differently. So she may have dealt with it differently. They say that, you know, Demi Lovato once said that she was SA'd and she went back and had sex with a guy because it gave her power.
Control.
So people deal with trauma differently.
Yeah.
But the facts of the case itself and the witness statement and everything that came out does not align factually with what they're accusing him of.
Yeah.
So Candace Owens is not defending him. She's defending the rule of law.
Yeah.
So, which is tricky because it sucks because it's like, if he did this to the 5 women, he should never come out of prison.
Yeah.
But the one that did take it to court and sent him away for 20 years lied. So with law and order and the rule of law, this person,
I think that just boils down to, we can say what the problem is. It's liars. I mean, it's people that are creating lies, but it also, oh my God, there's so many issues. This is why I say all the time when we're on the phone, like, being a human is such a complex thing that, like,
100%.
Law and Order and black and white, and it's just it all, no one's going to be happy, it's just.
Agreed.
But it's scary too, because then if you have somebody who is just this horrible, disgusting person that did rape these 5 girls and they're not being prosecuted for it. Oh yes, I'm sorry, essayed, sorry. They and they're walking the streets because the one person who lied got proven to be a fucking liar. Now women are in danger. Kids are in danger because now this person is just walking. But then you have these cases like, look at the lady who wrote The Lovely Bones. She said, that's the guy that raped me. And he wasn't. He went to jail for years. And when he got out, his whole life was destroyed. Destroyed. So it's like, it's hard. It's hard. But that's why I see the appeal of just it being so easy, because to be on that side of believe all victims, because in the mind of a regular person who is not lying for money, yes, you should believe someone who's a victim, but we live in a world where it's so fucked up where we have to prove that we're victims, that people have to prove that they're a victim. And then you tie in the other complexity of this is a public figure, and the other side, their mind immediately goes to that person just wants money. And it's like, it's such a it's
like
hard.
the E. Jean Carroll with Donald Trump. A lot of people that hate Trump says he raped E. Jean Carroll. He essayed her, and it's like, okay, he essayed her. That's what's being. I'm not saying it happened. I'm not saying it didn't. What I am saying is that she couldn't remember a date. She remembered a department store that he didn't even know what department store she was talking about, and then she joked about on the Anderson Cooper show that some people fantasize about rape in a sexual manner. They fantasize it.
That's a kink. It's called CNC.
So she talked about that.
Non-consensual consent or something like that.
And then she joked, I want to say it was on The View or with Joy Reid. It was with somebody. She was joking about what she was going to do with all the money that she was going to make from this lawsuit.
But
that's why I get mad, because there's 2 things here, right? Number one, if it did happen and you're focusing on the money and you're joking about it, now you're making survivors look awful.
Yeah.
Number 2, you're excited about the money, but you're willing to lie about it for fame.
Yeah.
You're a shitty person.
100%.
But because he's Donald Trump, people are like, oh, he's this. I mean, did he pay Stormy Daniels for sex and then lied about it while Melania was pregnant? Absolutely did. Does that goes with his moral and his fault?
That's between him and Melania.
I was gonna say that, falling short of his marriage and his vows. That has nothing to do with running a country. But we've hit the 202 mark, just so you know.
We did. So let's quickly, on a light note, we'll leave the podcast on a light note and comment your thoughts below. I know it's a hard conversation to have, because again, there's that gray area where, like, if I had to put myself in a victim's shoes, I could see where, this was like such a huge traumatic moment in their life where they will remember the exact minute in time where this happened to them. But think about it, a girl walking home from the bar at night or something. I'm not going to remember the time or date or, things. If I'm just walking home and I was assaulted in a taxi, things are so complex. It's just,
I think that if it did happen, it's unfortunate that she joked about it, because now people like me don't necessarily believe you.
Yeah.
There's nothing funny about surviving such a horrible, horrible situation.
Yeah, so, I agree.
Anyway.
Yes. If you want to play that clip, I just want to get your live reaction. This is a huge moment in pop culture, at least for people who are reality TV fans. So let's see.
Me?
Yeah. So let's see what because I screamed this morning. Jesse's like, what's happening? You might not scream, because I don't know if you like this person or not.
I want to know who commented. Are we ready?
I'm ready. Share the audio too, in case you forgot.
I hope. Let me know if the volume is up.
Yes.
Here we go again. This season, I've chosen this magnificent Italian castle.
This place is crazy.
This is so beautiful. I have a special VIP spending the entire summer. She's my eyes and ears. There she is.
Not Sheena. Stassi, drama.
Stassi. Remember when I used to tell you, don't get involved in other people's business? Well, now I want you to do the exact opposite. Snooping. I love
this. Not Bo.
I love Bo.
Added some new faces.
Cheers to all the toxic couples in the castle.
Some returning ones.
I am here to redeem myself.
And the most exceptional employee will receive a job opportunity and a spectacular bonus.
I'm not leaving without that money.
If this castle crumbles, so does my Italian summer. Our next guest are the mom talks. They're a little bit naughty in their playtime.
They're crazy.
Never have I ever had a threesome. Is swinging a threesome?
Yes.
I started watching
I'm
that show. By the way.
excited to stick my nose in business where it doesn't belong. Are you allowed to make your move on
The guests?
I think so.
Look to me. There was just instant connection.
There's still so much unresolved. It's been up and down, up and down.
Are you living with regret?
You like her? You feel safe with me. I can make you feel unsafe.
And the fact that I am front row for her and Bo fighting is just...
This is the castle.
You're an actual psychopath.
You never let the back of house spill to the front. Pack your bags.
I can't believe that 4 people are gone.
We are donezo. Donezo.
What do you mean, Dunzo?
Oh, Jesus.
I could be the lady of the castle.
No, that's me.
I love Stassi.
What did I just watch?
First of all, so many naked bodies jumping in the pool. Like, can we get a different scene? First of all, but Stassi, how do you feel about that? Did you not like her, or do you like her?
I like Stassi.
I love Stassi.
Stassi is like a younger, crazier version of me.
She's
when
a
I was
Cancer.
crazy. Is she? Oh,
Yeah.
that explains it. Dude, what did I just watch?
I know. I never thought she was gonna come back. I mean, I guess it makes sense because she's not on Vanderpump Rules. That's where she was fired off of. So
I
But
didn't
it's
even know
Vanderpump
that
Villa.
this was the second season.
yeah, season 2.
And also, have you seen the life of these Mormon women on Hulu?
No, Daenerys told me about it.
They're crazy. It
I
just sheds a new
heard.
light. It's crazy. They have orgies. They have all sorts of activities that kind of questionable. I don't know,
Yes.
but holy. So I'm reading the comments right now. First season was okay. Wasn't planning on watching the next, but with Stassi back, oh, I'm tuning in.
Yeah, the same.
We love Stas. So glad to see she's back. Pleasantly surprised with how this looks. I'll be tuning in. First of all, do you think that the fight with her and Bo was for real?
I
hope
mean,
not.
it's reality TV at the end of the day, but
I love them
she's a
together, yeah.
handful. She's a handful.
I love that Vanderpump, that Lisa brought her back though. That's dope.
I know. So that was, I wanted to end on a little bit of a light note.
I love that. Are you gonna watch?
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
I don't like the couple shows. Like I don't do Love Island. I don't do The Circle.
Me
I don't do any of
neither.
that.
Let me
But,
tell you, ever since you introduced Vanderpump Rules to me and my best friend, it is our favorite. She's into the Valley now, but I haven't watched the Valley because I just don't
No,
care
neither.
for Brittany. Brittany is
Oh, I
just,
forgot she's on it.
she's always frowning. I don't know what she had
Rotten
done.
hell, Jax. Rotten
Rotten
hell.
hell.
Rotten hell. No, I never watched it either.
Yeah, like,
Vanderpump Rules was and is. I mean, I should say is and was. The shit.
No, it's honestly starting to get close to that time where I need
Yes,
to
you gotta go.
rewatch it. No, I need to
Oh,
rewatch
I
it.
thought you had to go. Yeah, no, we purge and then we talk about it like we haven't seen it 17 times already.
Yeah, it's so
But
good.
pleasure always.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you
Thank you
guys for
for
tuning
today.
in.
Super early. I
Yes,
missed church.
yes.
That's okay. I'll watch it online later.
I know. Thank you for accommodating with the time because I do have a party to get to.
Always and always. I know. Have fun at the party. I am going to work on editing as soon as we
Yes.
hang up, and I am going to work on our clips and just let the good times roll.
All right. Well, thank you everybody again for tuning in to the podcast. We are back, business as usual. Hopefully every Sunday again.
Otherwise, I'll just start traveling with like my little camera and just start doing it off out of the studio.
I know.
Which
All
is
right.
gonna get a remake. All right. It was awesome. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.